Welcome to the special council meeting of Ararat Rural City. Council is keen to engage with members of the community in how now live streams the form of council meetings to make them accessible. The stream will be available to view at Ararat Rural City Council's Facebook page from 6 p.m. and on Council's website www.ararat.vic.gov.au from Wednesday morning following the council meeting. You do not require a Facebook account to watch the live broadcast. Simply enter www.facebook.com/Ararat Rural City into your address bar. Please be standing. Frank.
The traditional acknowledgement. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and pay our respects to our elders past, present and emerging.
Our opening prayer. Almighty God, we humbly ask you to help us as elected councillors of the Ararat Rural City Council, guide our deliberations, prosper what is your will for us, to your honour and glory, and for the welfare and benefit of the people whom we serve in the Ararat Rural City.
Councillors pledge. We will undertake the duties of the Office of Councillor in the best interests of the people of the municipal district of Ararat Rural City Council and faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in us under the Local Government Act 1989 or any other act to the best of our skill and judgment. Please be seated. Are there any apologies? No apologies. Declarations of disclosure of interests. Are there any declarations?
Yes.
Yeah.
Councillor Allgood and Councillor Deutsch, that's item 1, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Section 2, reports requiring council decision, proposed amendments of General Local Law 2012. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's really there. Start there.
Again, it's it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the February 2019 Council meeting, Council adopted an amendment to the General Local Law 2012 under Section 32 camping. It's been identified that a further refinement of this has come to Council to support and ensure the effectiveness of a new camping permit system for Council-nominated camping areas. In order for Council officers to enter into a permit enforced process, existing Section 32 camping subsection 1 must be amended. The proposed amendment is to provide clarity to all stakeholders on the application of the local law pertaining to camping permits and address any perceived conflict as it applies to the requirements for permits not only at Greenhill Lake but also other Ararat Rural City Council assets where similar recreation activities are undertaken. The camping permits will require campers to obtain a cost-free permit that stays longer than 5 days or nights, apply for a cost-free permit after 5 nights or days for a maximum period of 28 days in any calendar year, indemnify Ararat Rural City Council for any liability and also to commit to the reasonable conditions contained within the permit. To make the amendment, there's a statutory process that we have to go through and under the Local Government Act under Section 223, so there's a recommendation to start that.
Are there any questions of the officer? If not, there's a recommendation. Anyone willing to move it? Councillor Braithwaite, Councillor Armstrong. Sorry. Do either of you wish to speak to it? No. If not, I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? That's passed. We invite the councillors back into the meeting. Thank you. Councillors, the recommendation is passed.
Thank you.
2.2, draft council plan incorporating the strategic resort plan. Mr. CEO.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. We've had significant conversation around the council plan and its redevelopment. I think we've worked well to produce a plan that's readily understandable to the community, but also provides some very clear accountability for council and its organisation in fulfilling that plan. I guess there's a new suite of council plan documents that we're putting forward this year. The first phase of the council plan, which is the Year 3 revision, which is a revision of the council plan for 2017 to 2021. There's also a council plan snapshot, which is a 5.5 section which we're going to distribute to the community, which provides a snapshot of the council plan in its third year, including very clear actions to be undertaken in the next financial year to fulfil the requirements of that council plan, but also an annual work plan, which is a one-page document that will serve as a work plan for the organisation to achieve the requirements of the council plan. So I suppose that what we've tried to do is produce a suite of documents this time around that are accessible and clear in their intention, but also provide a roadmap for the organisation, making the council plan the key driver of our activity for that 12-month period as well. In addition to that, we have the strategic resource plan, which provides, I suppose, a 4-year financial model for council's performance. And the key features of that really are maintaining the budget that's being presented tonight, maintaining the key drivers of that is controlling staff cost, maintaining control of recurrent costs within the organisation, but also an emphasis on capital works expenditure as we move forward. They're the key elements of the strategic resource plan in a nutshell. We might talk about that in more detail in the next report.
Any questions of the Chief Executive Officer? In relation to this recommendation, CEO, the public have till 5:15 p.m. on the 7th of June to put in their
They do indeed.
comments.
Yes.
And it will be dealt with a special meeting of council 4 days later on the 11th of June.
Yes.
Public submissions.
That's public submissions, yeah.
Yeah. So if there's no questions, anyone wish to move the motion? Councillor Braithwaite and Councillor Deutsch, do you wish to speak to it? Yeah, Councillor Braithwaite.
Yeah, this is a significant piece of work that's been achieved. I think it's extremely improved on what we've had in the past in terms of readability and understandability. It's concise and easy to understand. So I think we've made a good step forward, and I think the resource plan that sits behind it is also an excellent piece of work.
Any other comments?
I can endorse what Councillor Braithwaite said before. It's going back to basics, and the basics are always good. From the basic, you can build up on it again. But I won't go any further.
Councillor Armstrong.
Thank you. I welcome this pragmatic approach to council providing the service that council is actually mandated to do. It's getting back to what we're supposed to be all about, and I really welcome the new beginnings, and it's a pragmatic approach. And as outlined by Councillor Braithwaite, I think the simplicity and clarity of the documents that are being provided to our residents to get a greater understanding of what it is that we are actually about and how we are doing our very best to meet their needs and aspirations within the very real limits of the parameters of our revenue base. So I really do hope that our community engages in the submission process and gives us some good, honest and equally clear feedback. Thank you.
Councillor Hall.
I endorse the other councillors' comments, but I just want to ask a question a little belatedly. It is up for public submissions and public comment, but what form how does the public access it?
That will be available in our council offices, but also on our website. So it'll be accessible through those two channels, principally.
Thank you.
And the comments will be available coming back by the same?
Yes.
Yeah. Are there any other comments or questions? If not, do you wish to close the vote, Bill? Or?
No, I think we've all said enough.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? That's passed. Draft budget, Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A draft budget is presented to council. It's my first budget as CEO, and I'd like to thank the key staff who worked around producing the budget. I think we've used the term back to basics a few times tonight, and this is certainly a back to basics budget for us. There's a need for us to clearly focus on delivering the services we're required and mandated to deliver, There's a clear need for us to improve our capital works performance and the amount that we're spending on capital works, which we've achieved through this budget, while working within the rate capping environment. And I think we've achieved quite some good work with council around developing this budget over the last couple of months. Some key elements of the budget I think that we should be quite proud of are the fact that we've got $350,000. Actually, first of all, our capital work spend for the year is about $1.4689 million, which is a significant increase on previous years. And we've got $350,000 allocated to the Elmhurst Hall redevelopment. We've got $400,000 for female-friendly amenities at the Law Rec Reserve, but that is dependent on some grant funding coming in or some external funding outside council. Council have contributed about $133,000 to that in budget, but I'm quite confident that we'll receive some additional funding from community sources, but also potentially from government sources to complete that project during that time. We've got significant, the $750,000 upgrade of the Bianca Van Nevis Road, which is I've identified at a briefing recently as a very important strategic piece of road network we're going to continue to work on, to develop. We've got $909,000 in bridge upgrades, and we've got $50,000 spending on rural hall upgrades during the year. We have reduced our salaries budget by $500,000 next year. That's after we've included EBA salary increases and increases in work cover premium. So that's a substantial savings to the community. I suppose the story's really told, if I could, councillors, on page 25 of the budget document in the comprehensive income statement. Sorry, it's a bit hard on the iPads to find that, I presume. But anyway, that's okay. I guess we see there the reduction in employee cost over the year that we've achieved without significant redundancies. We've actually achieved that by attrition, but we have essentially removed a layer of management of the organisation, which has freed up our staff to get on with their jobs essentially. We see a decrease of about $1.1 million there in materials and services, which is again an impact on our recurrent expenditure, so we're saving money there. I guess last year our comprehensive result was a deficit of $700,000. For this forthcoming year, we project a surplus of $3.2 million. Now, I do bear in mind that's not real money. We're actually delivering a surplus of $3.2 million. But in accounting terms, that includes depreciation expense, a range of other things. We're actually back in the black in terms of government's understanding of our performance. It's a good space to be in. If you see the projections there in the strategic resource plan for the next 4-year period to 2022-23, we're seeing we're staying in the black in that space and continue to keep a handle on our employee costs and our recurrent expenditure. So I think that's the sort of budget where we need to be sitting for the next period of time.
Any questions of the officer? Councillor Braithwaite.
Just a small correction. The CEO said we had a $1.4689 million capital works. We've got a 14.6.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say 1.4.
You said 1.
Oh, sorry, it's 14.689.
14.6 million.
The big number was too exciting for me, I'm afraid, Councillor Braithwaite.
Which is a great number.
Are there any other questions? If there's no questions, is there someone willing to move the recommendation? Councillor Allgood and Councillor Armstrong. Do you wish to speak to it, Councillor Allgood?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess what I'm delighted with is the fact that it's all explained in black and white. I've been waiting for many, many years for this to actually happen, where people actually come to you and ask you exactly where their money is going. And we now have it in black and white. We've made enormous savings. And I'd just like to compliment the CEO on the fact that he's worked very hard, and the rest of the staff, because I've found over the past few weeks it's very hard to get in to see him, because he's usually locked down with a heap of our staff actually going through the figures and trimming them and slicing and dicing, and I know that there's a lot of that going on. But as I said, I think the honesty of the document is the fact that I can go to it when somebody asks me about a road or a bridge or what we're doing, and I've actually got it in front of me without ringing up and trying to find out. So I'd just like to congratulate everybody on the effort and say that I've waited for a long time for this to happen, and I'm absolutely delighted that we're now at this particular point where we can go out there and proudly hold our heads and say that we're being very equal as far as rural and city goes We're trying to look after both. I'm very pleased about the fact that we've doubled the grants for the community halls. I think that's a great incentive. And what we've tried to do is, in my reading of the document, is to cover everybody. And when I mean everybody in the municipality are going to get some benefit from this, and I think the whole community will with the savings. And restructuring isn't easy, we all know that. It's a very difficult thing to do, but I'd also like to congratulate the CEO over that as well, because I think that's a very big task and not an easy one to actually say. So congratulations.
Anyone else wish to make a comment?
I just want to support Councillor Allwood on whatever she said. It's exactly right. It's a damn good budget.
Anyone else? Councillor Armstrong.
Thank you. I'm really heartened by this budget because I see it as a response to the very strong message that we received numerous times over 2 years ago in the submission process from a very concerned group of residents from right across our community, and I see this budget as being directly responsive to those concerns. We have a far more balanced approach that is, I believe, far more equitable than what we have seen in recent years, and I commend the organisation for the huge efforts that have gone into the very careful consideration of all of the factors. So thank you.
Anyone else? Councillor Hall.
Yes, Mr Mayor. I endorse the comments of the other councillors. I also commend the leadership of the CEO, who has taken on board community feedback, council feedback, and worked very hard with some very dedicated staff to bring into place a budget that is one that we can be proud of and one that is responsive to the community needs. The CEO has given us a snapshot, and this budget has taken many weeks of work, and there is no way that sitting around this table we can describe and pass on the information about what is contained in it. There is something in there that involves every member of our community, and I would commend the community take the time to access it and read it, even if they don't want to make a submission. Understanding what we're working towards and what we're doing, I think, is a very valuable thing for our community to do, and they will respect the efforts that have been made to follow the direction that Council has set and how well the CEO and his staff have responded. So I commend them highly.
Anyone else wish to speak? If not, I will. And I'll just say one of the issues with reading the budget is this budget is so different to our past ones. So lots of things that were hidden away in various different departments now, for example, like training, nearly all under the CEO, economic development set. So you can't actually, we can't, from the old documentation, compare last year's to this year's. The staff have done that and tried to make sense of it, but it's a brilliant document. Can I also point out about the doubling of the amount to the rec reserves? That is retrospective. Council made a decision that would be retrospective, so they will be getting extra money in this year's budget, the one that's just over. Also, the capital works, whilst a lot of it is in roads, some of it isn't. And the Elmhurst Hall is a good example. The toilets are appalling, and they're going to be upgraded and made disability friendly, and that's really important for down there if any emergency happens, that they have the facilities to deal with those issues. There's a lot of spending in this, and I don't want people to assume that the council is going to be doing all that work. There'll be lots of contractors employed, lots of local businesses will benefit from this work, and hopefully we will be able to get more grants. And there are some sort of in the air at the present moment, and we would hope that if they come, we have the capacity to administer them so that our community gets the best outcome. And that's all we're asking for, is the best outcome. It doesn't matter who delivers it. So I'm very pleased with the budget. It's actually, as Gwen just clearly pointed out, if she wants to know how much it costs to clean the toilets at Elmhurst, there's the budget, not hidden away. Elmhurst toilets, $2,000 or whatever it is. So it's all there. So the mover wishes to close the debate.
I'd just like to say that I just feel that we're not playing catch up anymore, because that's what we've done. If we've got a grant, we're scratching around trying to find out whether we've got the money, whether we've got enough money. This way we've got some money set aside. So yeah, I'm very complimentary on the budget, and I think it's well done to all the staff that have had a contribution and our CEO, because I'm very conscious of the fact this has been a real team effort.
Thank you. That closes the vote. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? That's passed. That's the total agenda for today. There's no special meeting, closed session. So thank you very much.